Monday, May 18th, 2026. Welcome to episode 6 of I Might Know Ball. I am Connor Boyd, also known on the internet as Moschino Dorito, and I am joined, as always, by resident sports expert Billy Nayden. Billy, hello.
Connor, very ready to play Yankees therapist for you today.
Oh my God. And I say we should just start right there. Billy, we got to talk. We got to talk.
I know we have to talk.
And listen, when I met you, the Yankees had done basically the exact same fucking thing, basically, around the time when I met you. The season had gone virtually the exact same. We had people like Aaron Judge hitting really well. Ben Rice was hitting well for a spell. Trent Grisham even was hitting well for a spell. Goldschmidt. And then you kind of like, I think I was even at the game. It was the first start where Max Fried just like was walking people in 4 pitches. It was against the Cubs. And Matthew Boyd, I think, is their pitcher, right? He was dealing. And that was kind of like the beginning of the, and also the early troubles in the bullpen. It's all looking very similar to when I met you, right? And the disturbing thing that I feel like I'm going through as a Yankees fan who's basically been a fan since June of 2024, very new fan, but a spirited one, is you get the sense that like demons are real. These pitfalls they fall into are there for a reason. It happens over and over again. And you start to feel helpless, like you're just watching the same thing, the same maddening dream spell out over and over again. And as we were having a great time watching the Yankees in like April, go figure, the month they love, April and early May, you had that inkling feeling that like the other shoe will drop. And there's, I don't know, not a curse, but something in the air. And, yeah, as a recent fan, I got to just ask, like, is there hope, Billy?
Here's the thing about baseball, Connor. You'll hear me say this a million times, right? You're going to win 60, you're going to lose 60. It's what you do with the other 40 that determines what type of baseball team you are. So always keep that in mind. Like, the best teams in this sport lose 60 games more than a third of the time, right? Here's the issue. We lost to the Mets. So every Yankee fan today is feeling it a little bit more because every sports radio station in New York is talking about the Mets and how they beat the Yankees. Every Yankee fan knows a set of Mets fans who is all over them for this weekend. And the reality is like, is there concerning stuff here? Absolutely. There is absolutely stuff that I think is concerning. Am I panic button? What are the Yankees going to do? They can't compete in October. They're no good. Absolutely not. I think we need to address the elephant in the room. David Bednar was a player who you and I both came into the season with probably one of the most confident players we had on the team, right? That was one of the guys you probably felt the best about. And it just hasn't started that season at all. And like this feels like a low point where Sunday's game, it's the bottom of the 9th. You're up 3 runs. You have your closer in. There's 2 outs. And a guy who's hitting under 200 just takes a middle breaking ball into the seats, ties the game, and then you're not able to put him away in extra innings and you end up losing the series. And that's what hurts when you look at it today on a Monday.
So that's what I wanted to start with. David Bednar. I mean, if you're a Mets fan, that's probably the most fun moment of the season for you so far. I find the only way to cope in these situations is to try and have a little empathy and go, well, for those losers over in Queens, that was pretty fucking neat, man. They got their, like, Aaron Judge.
And you had Luke Weaver and Devin Williams shut the Yankees down, right? I mean, that's got to be fun if you're a Mets fan.
I was, like, disgusted by it. I mean, that was because that was our moment to prove ourselves right, to prove our dominance, to go, yeah, these bum-ass relievers, they're out of the Bronx for a reason. And what happens? They go out, of course, because when someone hates the Yankees, Billy, they go like Ultra Instinct Super Saiyan. I don't know what the fuck it is, but when someone has beef with the Yankees, they play better than they do in their entire fucking career. And Devin Williams got out of like a no out, bases loaded jam with his stupid ass pitch mix. He made us look like fools.
We make ourselves look like fools because the situational hitting's been awful.
Oh my God.
And you know, I think like there's two parts to this, right? Like you look at the foil of Weaver and Williams mow us down. Bednar on the flip side gives up yet another late inning, you know, game losing event. You know, we saw it in Milwaukee. We're seeing it again here. It's like becoming this pattern.
It's bad.
And
it's bad, Billy.
You have that paired with kind of this, you know, black and white dichotomy of Williams and Weaver dominate and Bednar doesn't. That's a bad look. And then you have the flip side of that. And like the chief, in my opinion, the chief reason we got that Williams got out of this jam was Austin Wells can't hit anything.
Oh my God.
He can't. I mean, all he needed to do, first and third, one out, you needed a fly ball to put a run on the board. And you couldn't do it. And I'm looking at Wells and Bednar and I'm thinking to myself, like, what's going on? Why is this so bad? These two guys especially. And I was looking into it today. You know what they have in common, Connor, Wells and Bednar?
Are they from Pittsburgh? Or?
They played in the World Baseball Classic this March. And I think what we've seen over the course of this competition that has gotten increasingly more littered with MLB players, guys who are trying a lot harder, interrupting spring training, going full bore, like very early on, right? Try and win for their country. We've seen disparate results. For some guys, it ends up okay. They start the season okay. It looks normal. For some guys, they get injured or they have a situation where they just don't look like themselves early season because they didn't have the routine of spring training. And I think Bednar and Wells, of everyone who's remained healthy in the early season, obviously like guys like Altuve or, you know, guys who have gotten hurt, that's a different story. But Bednar and Wells have just not looked like themselves. And I have to wonder if some of that has to do with their preparation prior to the season got disrupted. That has to matter.
I think it's league wide also. I mean, I don't think it's an accident. Tatis hasn't hit a homer. Jazz isn't hitting. I think a lot of the people that were in the Classic are struggling. But yes, Austin Wells, man. It's crazy to have a series that there's so many bad things to talk about, and somehow you're still the center focus.
He's a standout bad performer.
Because look, that ground ball was that ground ball double play was like an extremely loud statement. Unfortunately, like that just screamed like. That was impossible for anyone to not notice. And he did the exact same thing in the postseason against the Blue Jays. There was a moment we had the bases loaded. Again, all he had to fucking do was put the ball in play, and he swung at the first pitch, and it flew out. And it's just like, holy shit, dude. You're a fucking catcher. Your entire job is situational. Literally everything you do is situational. How are you this shit at hitting, bro?
It's so bad. And look, we're in an era of catchers don't hit. For the most part, they don't hit. I mean, freaking Cal Raleigh has a 556 OPS right now. The guy was second place MVP finisher last year, right?
I mean, that guy's terrible.
There are 8 catchers in Major League Baseball with an OPS above 700. For me, OPS is the best judgment of a good hitter. It is a combination of, are you getting on base? And are you getting an extraordinary number of bases? It's rewarding you for extra base hits, right? So that's why OPS is so important. I believe Austin Wells is like 11th or 12th among catchers for OPS of guys who I believe have, you know, over 100 at-bats. It might be over 75 at-bats. But he is not as bad as we feel as Yankee fans, but he is such a zero in the lineup when you can't hit that, like at that level, you really can't hit, and you really can't even do situational stuff like you said.
Right.
You feel it so much because it doesn't, it basically is an out in our lineup where when we have positional injuries, Caballero and our outfield being banged up, and you're missing probably a little extra pop in that lineup, and you're looking for someone to do anything to step up. Austin Wells is the opposite of that and has been the opposite of that. And even though I think he's a good defensive catcher and he's done good things for us behind the plate, if he doesn't pick up the hitting, like, that's a move we're going to have to make, because you just can't have a guy who's an automatic out in your lineup, no matter how important he is defensively.
How long is the leash? Because, if you don't remember, he led off, I think, 2025 season, because he was our leadoff hitter going into the postseason of 2024. And he was at one point a high batting average player. And it's like, where the fuck did that go? How are you in an organization like the Yankees with all the resources they have, and you don't even slightly improve at hitting, you get fucking worse? Like, what is going on? I just don't understand that.
Well, here's the problem when you have guys like that who are young, who are nailed-on starters. I mean, everyone comes after Volpe, and rightfully so. But I think Wells is much the same situation where
they don't have anybody else.
There's no one there competing for him. And like, even more than Volpe, there's no Jose Caballero of catching.
Right.
It doesn't exist. There's no depth at this position right now. And so you're kind of stuck with him. But at the same time, I mean, you saw it. Volpe goes down to AAA for 10 games? Not even. He looks like a more disciplined hitter because there's stuff you can work on down there. And they should have done this with Wells earlier when they had the catching depth, and let him figure out how to be a little more selective at the plate and just get on base more.
I mean, I'm not mad. I mean, I trust JC Escarra more at this point. I mean, like, defensively, Wells is better, but JC Escarra has been randomly, I mean, he's not good either, but he's been randomly impactful as well. But I mean, do you want to move on to Volpe? Because I think there's a lot to be said about Volpe. I mean,
he had 7 walks this weekend?
Something like that. It was something like, I think 7 walks. I mean, it was crazy in this series. And I mean, he got a big 2 RBI double, I think it was, to put us ahead. I mean, like, that guy mechanically is a good-looking ball player when he plays well. I mean, his swing is really fast defensively. His arm's powerful. He's getting to first. Like, when that ball leaves his hand, it's going chest level right at Rice. It's not going to fuck up if it looks good. But it's the mental shit. But hey, yeah, he's 26?
I don't even think he's that. I think he's 25.
Is he 25? Yeah.
He's really young. And I mean, if you remember, at 25, Judge is still in the minors, right? Like, this guy came up really quickly and got thrust into a spotlight really quickly. And to your point, like, I do think a lot of it is mental. I do think a lot of it is he gets anxious, he puts pressure on himself, and then he makes silly mistakes that he would never make in a million years. And I think that's what was encouraging to me about this performance this weekend is he looked patient at the plate. He looked like he belonged. He didn't look nervous. He let the Mets pitch around him bizarrely and get on base. And guess what? Like, if Anthony Volpe gets on base, he's actually a really good base runner.
Yes.
He can swipe bags. He can advance. Like, he gets around on balls in play. So I think he's a guy where if he can kind of replicate, I don't expect him to walk 7 times every weekend, but if he's a guy who can,
if he's got even a higher walk rate than before, that's just
shore up
his
the on-base percentage, and then you're a useful player. Then this is a real competition between him and Caballero. Yeah. Then there's a conversation of, can we play one of them at third base? Can we play one of them at second base on certain days? So that was a guy I was really encouraged by. And then the other guy I thought had a pretty good weekend was Jazz Chisholm. I mean, baggy pants and all, he looks ridiculous out there. I'm sure there are many, many old school baseball fans who can't wait to have Jazz Chisholm off of the Yankees. But for a guy who struggled all season, I mean, he was our best hitter this weekend.
Yeah, that kind of like went by the wayside that he's sort of turning things around. But yeah, it was a weird mix of emotions because like I was starting to like look forward to Volpe being at bat. I was like, well, he's going to get on base. I mean, he's been walked 5 times. Like something's going on with him. So it's weird. Also, like Ahmed Rosario, like I'm like, thank God when I see him come up on the lineup. It's just like, thank God, like the ball will probably get in the infield somewhere or get in the outfield. Yeah, it was just bizarre because it felt like we really could have won that series. Like really,
every single game was winnable.
Yeah,
we need to fix the bullpen. You and I talked a lot last week about how we feel like there's a lot of internal options, and there's talk that Garrett Cole comes back this week. I thought Carlos Rodon looked a lot better this weekend. Like this rotation is going to get shaken up a little. And hopefully that's going to fix the bullpen because you're going to get better arm talent in there. But guys like Cruz, Doval, they just haven't looked the part. We're tossing Jake Bird and Hedrick out there like every other day. And then if you have that and then Bednar can't play either, or Bednar's struggling too, you're like really in dire straits with this bullpen. So something there, in my opinion, has got to change very quickly. And I think that will glaze over a lot of the situational hitting issues if you can just have a bullpen that gets outs.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, like, I could have bet my entire life savings that Tim Hill was not going to close out that game. Like, it was just like, this guy has gotten contact on every pitch he's thrown, and there's a runner on a fucking third with one out. You think they're not gonna? They've been super aggressive. They're going to get a hit here. Like, it was just the most miserable ending to a fucking series. But they 2 games in a row dropped completely out of nowhere pop flies. They should have. Bo Bichette drops one.
Yeah.
Which, if we would have lost that series, I would have feared for Bo Bichette's safety in New York.
Bo Bichette has got to be public enemy number 1 in Queens right now. I mean, that is what he is doing for $40 million a year is highway robbery. And I don't know what's going on, to be honest, because last year for Toronto and for years with Toronto, one of the most reliable hitters in the league, not an emotional guy, a pretty sure-handed fielder, like wasn't a bad fielder. And it's just like it's all falling apart at once. The Mets needed this weekend. They would have if they had lost all those games, they would have cleaned house. Yeah. And they desperately needed this. But if you're a Yankee fan, there's no way to come out of that and not be just exceptionally frustrated and want some sort of change to happen, even a minor one, just to kind of inject some life into this team, because it kind of seems like everywhere they turn, they're beating themselves right now.
Well, I think what's so frustrating about it, Billy, is like 2024, you have Juan Soto, you go to the World Series, you lose, and then you lose Juan Soto. Okay, that's brutal. But then 2025, it's like, oh, we get Bellinger, we get Fried, like we get these pieces.
You start to feel like there's a second window open.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, okay. No, we're having a June collapse again. Oh, this trade deadline's amazing. Oh, we're actually playing better. Oh, Volpe's a real issue, but wow, we've got these new pieces. We're moving things around. The bullpen's better. And like we catch up to the Blue Jays after dropping the lead in the division. And then we beat our rivals for the first time in the postseason for like first time in like 20 years. And then we just get absolutely shellacked. I mean, it looked like Little League, like we were tossing beach balls at them. We get shellacked by the Blue Jays. So it's like, you think they're being aggressive with the deadline, they're aggressive in the offseason, they're making adjustments, and then it just doesn't fucking matter. I think the frustrating thing about this season is they are really like making good moves. They're trying to win like we haven't seen in a long time. They are trying to win. So shit like this happening is very frustrating because we were so ready to just be ready for this team to be a fucking juggernaut.
But here's why it's not over, right? And here's why it's not panic time, and here's why it's not, emblematic of who the Yankees are or whatever. There's so much wiggle room left on this roster still because you have guys who are going to come back from injury. Like, you got to remember, like, if Grisham continues to suck, Jason Dominguez is going to play center field.
Yeah.
Like, Giancarlo Stanton is going to come back to this team. Sure. Garrett Cole is going to come back to this team.
Throwing 100, by the way.
Right.
You see that?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Like, I think you're going to see Luis Heel, Ryan Weathers, maybe even like a Clark Schmidt eventually coming out of this bullpen. What we see today out of this Yankees team, what we saw this weekend, is not emblematic of who they are or who they could be. But they have to do the ruthless, heartless, tough things to get to that level of competitiveness so that we are not looking at another October saying, We saw this in June. We saw this in May, right? Yep. Because if they don't make changes now, this team will not be ready to compete in October. But I fully believe from what we've seen this season, they will make the changes. I think the personnel is there. I think you have the prospects necessary to make trades to bolster, whether that be at third base or whether that be in the bullpen, like wherever you need to kind of add a piece. I think you're going to have the ability to do that at the trade deadline, but they need to make moves now because they need to get out of this losing way, out of these sloppy mistakes, and get back to playing the winning baseball we saw in early May and late April.
100%. And rounding out the baseball conversation, let's talk ABS real quick. Walks in the league are up. Just kind of a testament to how good Barry Bonds is. Nick Kurtz ties Barry Bonds' walk record. He did not have ABS back in the day, by the way. Yeah, that's the one thing about the Yankees. They are drawing a lot of walks.
Everybody is.
Yeah.
The walk rate's up to 9.5%. Basically, 1 out of every 10 at-bats is resulting in a walk. I believe it's up 20-something% from last year. It's the highest rate since the 1950s. And I think it's something that a lot of baseball fans, at least a lot of fans I talk to, something they've been frustrated with for years is like, umps are not consistent with their strike zone. They call a lot of stuff that is not a strike. And pitchers have adjusted to that where they said, wait, I could get strikeouts just throwing balls out of the zone. Why wouldn't I? Mm-hmm. And so now we're seeing it kind of swing back the other way where players are swinging a lot less because they have the ability to challenge. They have the ability to say, no, that's a ball, and have a robot validate that for them. But at the same time, I think this is going to swing back the other way where pitchers are going to sit there and say, oh, I actually have to throw the ball in the zone more. Mm-hmm. I actually have to give these guys something to hit more. It's going to make baseball a better product. And the other thing is, for years, the complaint was 3 true outcomes baseball, right? Where it's like home run, strikeout, ball in play, right? Constant complaint that there wasn't enough base running. Guess what walks get you? Guess what larger bases get you?
Right.
The base running component of baseball is coming back. It's more important than ever. And it is getting back to like what I believe is like the truer, purer version of the game where you're playing a more athletic version of baseball. And it's not just station to station going base to base, waiting for your big sluggers to come up and hit home runs.
Yeah. I also think you're going to see like a lot more switch hitting too, like in the league in general. Like I think there's just going to be just a lot more. Yeah, I agree. It's cool to see.
I think the only thing I want to say here too is like the Atlanta Braves are the biggest surprise of the first quarter of baseball to me. We've talked about them a lot. I mean, they're hitting well, they're pitching well, they're playing the game of baseball at an exceptionally high level. We talk a lot about, this sport is weird and playoffs are a crapshoot and, all those various things that we know about the game of baseball. And I want to point out that this has happened actually fairly recently. 2023, the Atlanta Braves won 104 games. They had the best record in baseball. You know what they did that season?
What?
They lost in the NLDS to the Phillies in 4 games.
Oh, man.
In 2021, the Braves were, I believe, a wild card team, or I believe they won the division on the last game of the season. There is a virtual tie with the Mets. You know what they did that season, Connor?
What?
They won the World Series.
Whoa.
So I just want to remind everyone who is panic button about their team, whether it's, the Yankees or the Dodgers or the Mets, or is over the moon about their team, whether you're a Rays fan or you're a Braves fan or you're a Cubs fan, right? It is still exceptionally early. When it comes to September, it will still be exceptionally early because the reality is this sport is the most unpredictable that we have in terms of when it comes down to playoffs, when it comes down to matchups, who is going to win? And I just want to remind everyone of that. When you check the standings every day, you live and die with your team over 162 games, the goal is to get in the tournament. If you get in that tournament, you have a shot. And so that's where I'm at as a Yankee fan. And that's where I think basically every fan base should be at. But just want to remind everyone of what the Braves have done in the last 5 years before anyone gets too high or too low on their team.
Yeah, no, 100%. Moving on to matchups. There is the matchup of matchups occurring in just about an hour as of this recording. The Western Conference NBA Finals, Game 1. The San Antonio Spurs versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. This is like basically the NBA Finals for everyone. Well, except for the Knicks fans, of course. But I mean, come on. This is like Goliath meets Goliath here. Like, this is going to be incredible.
He's talking to me like that? I'm supposed to just sit there and take that? Like, this is the de facto NBA Finals? Get out, dude. Get out. We got a lot more basketball to go.
That's true.
A lot more.
That's
and I've
true.
seen a lot better teams than this, who everybody said unbeatable, can't be touched, whatever. They're going to walk to the finals. I've seen them lose. Mm-hmm. So I want to see games be played. I want to see series progress. I want to see players stay healthy. But this matchup, Connor, OKC versus San Antonio, feels like a true generational torch passing, right? Where these are young teams. There's no Jokic even. There's no one from that. Like, these are like guys who can't even rent a car, right? Like, they're like early 20s superstars in this series. And like, there are so many storylines. I mean, where do you want to start? I feel like...
I mean, let's talk about the Spurs, like their starting five. I mean, like, first of all, obviously you got Wemby, but like, let's talk about like Dylan Harper for a second. I mean,
been balling out, dude. Playing the best basketball of his career.
I mean, it's like, how old are these guys? 22, 21 years old, 20 years old. I mean, it's unreal. The speed and the athleticism and the energy that these guys have, it's incredible. And that's I think the big distraction with the Wemby thing is that this team is really solid. Like, even when he's not on the court.
Well, that's my thing. Like, Harper and Castle, right? Stephon Castle, they are going to be the primary defenders on SGA. These guys are great perimeter defenders. Great. So, like, you are going to have to go through that. And then there's a 7'5" alien waiting for you in the paint when you get there, right? Yeah. SGA is not Steph Curry. He's not a long range bomber. He's got to get in the paint. He's trying to shoot mid range jump shots. And like, Wemby is going to be all over that unless Chet Holmgren catches fire from three and is able to constantly pull him out to the perimeter. And that is like the chess match that I'm going to be watching off the ball in this series as much as on the ball, because it's going to be a battle of, okay, SGA is going to have a tough time on the perimeter. These are great perimeter defenders, but we've seen him do it against great guys. He's going to get there. He's going to get to his spots. But is Wemby going to be there when he gets there? Are they going to be able to consistently keep Wemby from getting out of the paint? Because Wemby is averaging 7.7 blocks per game in the playoffs.
Crazy.
Almost 8 blocks a game.
Crazy.
That's unbelievable.
That's two really good defenders worth
Correct.
blocks per game.
Oh, great defenders. Like, if Dwight Howard had 4 blocks a game back, 10 years ago, everyone was thrilled. He was the best defensive big man in basketball.
Right. It's fucking ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. And you saw what they put the beat down on Minnesota in that game 6.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they said, well, there are levels to this shit.
They had Ant-Man giving out handshakes with
8 minutes left. 8 minutes left.
And people were mad at him. I'm like, bro, what he must have seen firsthand for someone to tip the cap like that. He knew he was beat, man.
And I'm not big on these regular season records. I really just don't think it matters as much. I think playoffs are just a really different brand of basketball. Sure. But it's not nothing that they lost the season series 4-1. It's not nothing that San Antonio beat them 3 times in very quick succession at the end of the season. Like, Wemby basically since, I'll call it February, maybe late January, this San Antonio Spurs team has been the best team in basketball.
Yeah.
And
100%.
Oklahoma City has not lost a game yet in the finals.
Right.
I think they're going to need all hands on deck for this one. Like, I'm thinking you're going to need big series out of Chet and J-Dub. I don't think SGA can do this on his own.
Billy, they have played the Phoenix Suns and the Lakers without Luka Doncic, and most of it without Austin Reeves. a 41-year-old fucking guy quarterbacking that team. They haven't played a good team. No wonder they have 8 wins. And you know what? To me, it's very reminiscent of last year's Blue Jays. It's a cocky team. They kind of got their camaraderie, but there's an air of like, man, if y'all lose, that's a bad look. Like there's gonna be a lot to just circle back to of like, yeah, you were talking shit about beating the Suns, bro.
And we've talked about this, but like these young NBA teams, right? These are like supremely talented. If OKC can keep this core together, they are looking at the makings of a dynasty. Make no question about it. But we have seen it time and time again where the young team wins because last year they were not the favorite. Mm-hmm. They were the underdog. They were the young upstart team where it was like, are they finally going to overcome, the Jokic's of the world, right?
Right.
This year, they are the juggernaut. They are the favorite. And that is a different kind of pressure that comes with that. And if you go down, let's say they go down 2-1 to San Antonio in this series, do they just implode? Do they start fighting in the locker room? Are there complaints over, I need the ball more, I need to shoot more, I'm not getting my touches, this, that, and the other thing? Like a lot of finger pointing because this team hasn't been on the other end of you are both the favorite and you are in trouble. Yeah, and I think we just kind of saw what happened in Detroit with that Cavs series. And I know we'll get to the East a little bit later, but it's a little bit kind of the same function on a higher level with more talent, right? Of you saw what happened to that Detroit team as soon as there started to be questions about, are these guys good enough? Mm-hmm. Is this team truly good enough? There started to be finger pointing in that locker room. There started to be kind of guys who were, the moment got too big for them, mm-hmm. right? And I wonder, like, if you have like these big seminal moments where, let's say, you're going into San Antonio game 4, you're down 2-1, that building's rocking, and you're looking at these guys saying, they might really just be better than us.
Yeah.
Like, are they prepared for that moment, or is SGA truly this guy who is an all-time great, who's going to be able to dig deep and say, no, guys, I'll put you on my back. I got this.
I mean, that really is what's so interesting about this is the amount of rivalries in this series. Like, you've got Chet and Wemby. And I think it's just fascinating in the time we live in. If you're either of them and you're on your phone, you're just scrolling past videos of you at like 15 years old playing in the World Cup against each other, and he's crying and freaking out because he's losing to you. I mean, it's like the way that every subconscious conversation just gets brought to the forefront, like these conversations that percolate up online, and you're just there's fucking highlight reels, and you think these players haven't seen these? You think Chet doesn't know there's a fucking highlight reel of Wemby going yeah every time he misses a free throw? I mean, of course he was right there, but still, it's like this is what people are cooking up is like, yeah, this guy wants to fucking beat Chet more than he wants anything.
So here, like what you're describing is exactly the reason why I believe Victor Wembanyama will be so great if he stays healthy.
Right.
Because what you're talking about, it's the clip that's been circulating for days now all over social media is this clip of the FIBA U17 championship, right. USA versus France, where Chet goes literally head to head with Wemby as teenagers and wins. And it's like this very like emotional moment, right, for Wemby. I don't think Victor Wembanyama earnestly checks social media. Of every athlete in the NBA, I truly believe like he has figured out a way to keep himself isolated from social media and these news cycles and all of it.
He would be smart too. Yeah.
Like I truly believe he's like cracking his book on the team plane and like playing chess and like doing like really
he's
academic
literally that
stuff.
meme of the guy sitting in a chair made out of his own brain.
That is
yes. Wemby. Yeah.
Like Chet Holmgren is not that. Right. And I'm not saying Chet is like Kevin Durant where he's obsessed with social media.
Chet Holmgren has a 4-digit snap streak for sure.
He definitely does. Like, a billion percent would be stunned if he didn't. So he's definitely seen these clips.
Yeah.
And like he definitely takes this rivalry personally. You see it in every interview that they talk about him. Like Wemby takes it personally because Wemby hates losing. Mm-hmm. Wemby reacted that way when they lost the gold medal this summer.
Well, I think he hates losing to someone he thinks he's better than.
Yeah,
which
he
is
hates
the
it.
essence of hating
He
losing.
hates it.
Yeah.
Like, And you can tell, like, the way he set up, like, this supporters section for the Spurs and, like, his attachment to this organization. Like, you can tell, like, he takes a lot of pride in that jersey.
Oh, yeah. He looks right in that jersey, man.
Chet Holmgren definitely watches these and is definitely like, I'm going to get this motherfucker again.
Yeah.
He's smirking to himself. He's thinking, I've done this before. He's thinking, I've got the better team behind me. And, like, I'm about to take this guy's whole aura. I'm about to take everything from him. This is going to be the Chet Holmgren era. You know he's thinking that. You know, like, that's the vibe he exudes about himself, where, like, you can tell, rightfully so, this guy's very high opinion of himself. He's into the rivalry. He's into the social media of all of it, right? Like, he's in the culture in a way that Wemby is not. Wemby is removed to go be an alien, right? And, like, that conflict of personalities, I think, is going to be really fun to watch transpire over the course of the series. But don't discount it, and don't think for a second that just because Wemby's not paying attention to it, that is the better path. Because I could totally see a world where Chet is, like, gets in his head so much that Wemby doesn't understand or, like, kind of, like, comprehend, like, where is this coming from? And it's literally like Chet up at 1 a.m. scrolling Instagram being like, this fucking guy.
Yeah.
And it's like fueled him in a way that Wemby probably doesn't have that fuel. He's a much more stoic athlete.
Mm-hmm. Unless you punch him in the ribs a couple times, then you're getting an elbow to the neck/chin. But let's also talk about, like, SGA versus Castle, J-Dub versus Fox, some of these other, like, matchups.
I think, like, De'Aaron Fox is the X factor to me in this series because I think Oklahoma City struggles the most when they don't move well in transition. De'Aaron Fox is great on both sides of the ball in transition because he's such a fast player. And so if he's able to control the pace of the game, I think San Antonio has a much better chance in this series, right? Because if he could take care of the ball and control the pace of the game, then I think they're going to struggle in the half court. If they're able to just force turnovers, force sloppy play, and get out in transition, Oklahoma City is going to have no problem because Wemby becomes a non-factor on defense in that situation. But I think he's the X factor. And then, you know, the Stephon Castle just emergence. I mean, what he did in Game 6 is unbelievable. He's a great defender. He's super athletic. I don't think Oklahoma City's played a player like him yet in this playoffs, and I think they're gonna have you know, problems with it, and they're gonna have problems adjusting to it. This is gonna be a long series, in my opinion.
Oh, 100%. It's either gonna be long or it's gonna be a 5-game series. That's what it's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be 5. It'll be a 6. It's gonna be a 6 or 7 game series.
I agree.
I think it's a disadvantage, frankly, that they've played 2, like, lesser teams. Like, I think that can actually be kind of like, I mean, like, this person coming off playing the fucking Timberwolves, dude, who are just fucking nasty, gnarly fucking team. Like, that is not what the Lakers were giving fucking OKC at all.
There's no Ant-Man on OKC. There's no guy like that. Like even when SGA has good games, he doesn't have that, like, swagger. He doesn't take over an arena, right? The way that Anthony Edwards does, where, like, he is the focal point. And there's arguments that, like, he was the best player in that series. Wembanyama is the best player in this series.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think that, you know, that's a challenge. Like, usually the best player in any given series wins.
That is
usually how it goes.
It's usually how it goes. Speaking of which, in that very same train of thought, the New York Knicks are back in the Eastern Conference Finals. Billy, how does it feel, my man?
Feels great, dude. Like, in my lifetime, the Knicks haven't made back-to-back Eastern Conference Finals since I was, like, in diapers, like a 34-year-old man. So this level of success is unheard of for Knicks fans, and I couldn't be happier with this matchup. Yeah. I'll be honest. Like, I feel very, very confident that the Cavs are such a good matchup for the Knicks because I think we're better than them at every level.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie, Billy. I think they're going to get stopped. I think the Knicks are going to beat their ass. Like, I really do. Like, I don't know. I'm actually, frankly, kind of shocked by the results of that series. The Cavs obviously beat the Pistons at home in Game 7.
Dominated.
I mean,
here's
we're
why,
leading by
here's
20
why
the
you're
whole
shocked.
game.
Let me tell you why you're
Yeah,
shocked.
tell me.
Because the Cavaliers all season have been arguably the most talented team in the Eastern Conference. That the roster they have put together with Mobley and Allen and Max Strus and Donovan Mitchell and now James Harden is arguably the best starting five in the entire Eastern Conference when healthy in terms of talent. They are such an erratic team that you have no idea what you're getting night to night. Because some nights it looks like Game 7 did yesterday, right? They come out and they beat the 60-win Detroit Pistons by 30 points in a game, in a clincher at home, right? And some nights it looks the way that, you know, the early games in this season looked. It looked the way they looked some nights against Toronto, right? Where James Harden completely disappears. You know, they don't take care of the basketball. They're not good defensively. And if they don't make shots at an efficient clip, they're not good. But here's my thing, where I go up and down this roster, like, who is guarding Jalen Brunson?
Right.
Who's guarding him? Like, are you going to play Dennis Schroeder 36 minutes a game to guard Jalen Brunson? Is that the plan here? Because Donovan Mitchell and James Harden ain't guarding Jalen Brunson. You put Max Strus or whoever on Jalen Brunson, you're going to get cooked. Here's the other thing. I think we're going to see a lot of double big lineup out of the Knicks.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's going to look a lot like the Atlanta series because you have Mobley and you have Jared Allen, right? They're going to use Cat at the power forward. They're going to say, hey, boys, you're going to come guard me out here.
Right.
You're going to come guard me out on the perimeter. I'm going to shoot those straight on threes. No problem. You're going to guard me like the full half court. You're not going to be able to just sit in the paint like you did against Detroit and Jalen Duren, right? And then they're going to have Mitchell Robinson say, I can rebound too. I could defend too, right? And you're going to play that double big lineup. It is going to wear those guys down, and it's going to open up that paint for Jalen Brunson to dribble by these guards who are, quite frankly, turnstiles on defense and get there. Meanwhile, on the other side of the floor, have fun with OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, and Mikal Bridges guarding your best scorers every night. 48 minutes a game. Those guys are going to be plastered.
By the way, Josh Hart, if you're watching this, just take a little less caffeine. 500 milligrams before a game. That is not healthy. That is not... 400 should be your daily maximum in 12 hours. Trust me, I'm a caffeine addict. Take less. Do like 250. Anyways, just had to
Josh, do what you want to do, dude. It's been working. Eat those Mike and Ikes, pal. Let's go.
Actually, yeah, fuck that advice. Making 600 milligrams, motherfucker. I need you to fucking punch through someone's chest in game 1. Anyways, that's a great point. Honestly, Billy, that's a great point. Yeah, man, it is... it's going to be really fun to watch. I watched a video on the way here, actually, and someone was like, I think, and this is a question for you because I want you to explain this to me.
Yes.
I don't quite understand what this means.
That's what I'm here for, Connor.
Because I don't actually understand basketball like that. But they were like, I think Mike Brown has been holding off on using the cat offensive strategy until the playoffs because no team is prepared for it. And that someone in the comments was like, that's what they did when he was on Golden State. And yeah, that's totally true. So explain that to me, Billy. What is the cat offensive strategy? How have we seen it in the playoffs so far? And how is that going to factor into this series with Cleveland?
Yeah, so I think the big thing that they've let Cat do, number one, they've run the pick and roll a lot more, right? Where Cat sets a pick, main ball handler comes into it. They either dish the ball off to Cat or they take an open shot. Either way, it opens up a lot. It's something that Knicks fans have wanted for a while because it's been super effective kind of in limited usage. But this playoffs, Mike Brown's really unlocked it. And then the other part is letting Cat take the ball a little further up the floor, not just giving him entries in the post, letting him dribble drive. Because the reality is even though he's huge and he's 7'1" or whatever, Cat is actually a pretty good ball handler.
Right.
Especially against other bigs.
You have to be to make passes and things like that, to be a good passer.
So he's able to dribble by guys, get to the hoop, get shots. And then the big one too is allowing Cat to be more of a playmaker out of the post, where you're using him as a primary ball handler. It's something you see done with Jokic a lot, where he's able to, like, his assist numbers are through the roof this playoffs because you have guys kind of cut around him, and he's able to, like, rather than do the post move, find the guy with a pass kind of out of that back to the basket play in ways that we didn't see all regular season. And, like, this is what Mike Brown was brought in to do. The criticism of Tom Thibodeau, who got the Knicks to the conference finals last year, right? Too defensive, runs his guys into the ground, not innovative on offense.
Right.
Mike Brown runs a deeper rotation. These guys are more used to playing together, like with like larger numbers of players that played over the course of the season, and running a more free-flowing, dynamic offense that changes based on the matchup. And you've seen it with Cat, where he is now like really unlocked. And the beauty of it is, you didn't put any of it on film in the regular season, so nobody's really had time to game plan for this, right? And nobody's really had time to like see what this looks like. And so everybody's kind of caught off guard, though they're, you know, getting used to it now, but you just don't have time to put the game plan in to practice enough to stop it. And you have two elite offensive players in Brunson and Cat who are kind of turned around here and unlocked new levels, where the Knicks have just been such efficient shot makers across the board throughout the Philly series, throughout the back half of the Atlanta series, where you look at this and you look at kind of a Detroit team that looked broken offensively, that was still able to get 3 wins against the Cavs. I have a really hard time not being confident in this Knicks team heading into this series with Cleveland.
Nor should you have any reason to not be confident, because, I mean, one other advantage, teams with a 6+ day rest advantage, I think, win 89% of the time. And, I mean, that is going to be huge. The fact that this team has had that much time to just rest and also just hone in and make adjustments, I mean, that is invaluable. I think that is another massive disadvantage to playing. I mean, did Cleveland play a 7-game series?
Yeah, they played 14 games already, and it's not a team with a particularly deep bench. They go like 8 guys deep, right? So it's like they are not a team that is about depth, about matchups, and they've already played 14 games, like hard-fought series where like they were playing win-or-go-home games. The Knicks have not faced elimination yet.
I know.
The Knicks have not played that many games. They've been resting. Like, they are ready to go, chomping at the bit, hungry. And I think Cleveland's probably feeling exhausted right now.
Well, and this is why I'm saying, like, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think it's going to be a 4-game series, but I wouldn't be surprised if they come out looking a little bit like, Philly did, where it's just like, oh my God, they just don't have the. It's like what you said, where like that theoretical pressure point situation where like you're down 2-1, it's like an away game, like, and you're really just in your head, is this the better team? Like, when you're facing the Knicks, it's just so much kinetic energy. It's such an exhausting team to play. I couldn't imagine playing them. And I think coming off 14 games, there's just going to be a moment where they break. And yeah, like, they've got talent, but it's like, yeah, like guys like James Harden are like old and shit. Like at a certain point, you're just like, I'm just gonna let the young folks like fucking take this shit. You know what I mean?
The flip side of this is they're extremely good defensively on the interior. Mobley and Allen is one of the best front court combos, if not the best front court combo left in the playoffs.
That'll be exciting.
Certainly defensively. And Donovan Mitchell, when he's on, is as good as anyone, and we saw it yesterday. I mean, 35 points, no turnovers. If he puts out those kind of shooting performances, it'd be hard for anyone to beat him.
This is why, we're going to say it damn near every episode, this is why the league frustrating to have a good product in the regular season is so did I say struggling? Struggling. It's frustrating. It's frustrating that they can't do this, because you got guys like Cade Cunningham, Donovan Mitchell, you've got Wemby, you've got SGA, you've got all this talent. I mean, like, even Toronto has some young, great talent.
Scotty Barnes.
Yeah, I mean, it's like there's all these cool players. There's a lot of young talent. You got Cooper Flagg. We've got Anthony Edwards. You've got all these people. And it's like, this is a very cool freshman class of, like, this new wave that's coming in. And Spida, Very excited to watch him play against the Knicks. Because, I mean, when you play the Knicks, it's like I said with the Yankees, like people rise to the occasion in Madison Square Garden. Anything can happen. And not that
And he's from Greenwich. I mean, he's born in Elmsford, New York. He's from Connecticut. Like
he said my Mets in a recent post.
His dad works for the Mets.
Yeah, he's like, my Mets won.
So this is like a homecoming for him. I think there's a lot of bitterness for him, actually, that like the Knicks didn't go get him, right? If you remember, like the offseason, they signed Jalen Brunson. The rumor was they were going to go out and get Donovan Mitchell. It ended up being Cleveland got him. And like there was talk that he was going to sign here. And then Brunson kind of takes off and the Knicks are like, thanks, but no thanks. And I think there is real resentment there where Donovan Mitchell wanted to be a Knick. He wanted to be home. And Brunson kind of took his spot. And so I think like that battle and what they're going to do against each other, I think is really compelling. But what I've seen time and time again is I've heard this narrative before. This other guard on other team is really, really great, maybe better than Brunson. And then we watch it happen on the floor and he's not better than Brunson.
Right.
I mean, we heard all the noise about friggin' Tyrese Maxey this past series. How did that work out, right? And so it's very fresh in Knicks fans' minds. I think the Garden's going to be fired up tomorrow for game one, but that Donovan Mitchell versus Jalen Brunson matchup is about as compelling as you could see. And I do think it's very personal for Donovan Mitchell.
I think you're probably right. And honestly, if the Knicks make it to the finals, not even win the finals, the Knicks make it to the finals, it is going to be absolute fucking chaos in this city. And I can't even wait. If they win the finals, genuinely just stay home. It's not even wise to leave the house. Just stay home. Let's talk about a little bit of hockey, Billy. Now, I had the privilege of sitting with my friend Tony, who's a massive Blues fan, massive hockey fan. And hockey, Billy, is one of those sports where every time I like refresh on it and watch some of it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is the fucking craziest shit I've ever seen in my life. Billy, there was a goal. I think it was the Avalanche's first goal against the, what was it? The Wild?
The Wild.
Minnesota Wild. And, which by the way, yeah, Minnesota, tough right now.
That is, I want to say this unequivocally. Shout out to my boy Quentin in St. Paul, but that is the hardest city to be a fan of at this point.
Oh, man.
I just want to run through this before we get into hockey. You had the Wild blow a humongous lead against the Avalanche, right? To get eliminated. The Minnesota Vikings are about as brutal a loser that we've seen in the NFL, like in forever. I mean, like literally
Justin Jefferson.
So many heartbreaking moments. Yeah, but who's throwing them the full? You know, your quarterback controversy is Kyler Murray against JJ McCarthy. Like we're in dire straits over there, right? You have your baseball team, the Twins, stink.
Right, sold their whole staff.
Stink. They're terrible. You have the Timberwolves. That's your best team.
Right.
Got obliterated at home. Like obliterated.
By a team that's young and not going anywhere.
Right. And now it's looking like a team that, I think it was 3 years ago, they played in the Western Conference Finals against Denver. And it's basically like once Jokic gets old, this is Ant-Man's conference. And
God.
It slipped right through our fingers, huh?
Yeah.
So you have those four. You could even look at some minor sports, right? You look at, their soccer team. James Rodriguez, the biggest name on the team, played 2 games leaving the club before the World Cup.
MLS now?
Yeah, they got nothing, dude. This team, they are struggling up there in Minnesota. So I feel for these guys, but
those Avs, man, are nasty. That first goal, I watch it. Every hockey goal you can rewatch 20 times. It's insane. I watched this first goal, the Avs. They shoot one from like top of the circle, and then one of the guys puts first of all, he shoots from the top of the circle. It immediately just flecks off the guy defending him's skate or blade or whatever the fuck you call it, shoe. And skate.
You had it the first time.
and then it's going towards the goal, still kind of on target. And then the homie on the Avs deflects it with his stick in midair, and that just adjusted just perfectly, and it goes in. And there was Tony showed me the Las Vegas Knights. Did you see that shot?
Yeah.
Between the fucking drop that crazy clip in between the legs, behind the back. That was absurd. I mean, Billy, I might have to start watching these playoffs because it is crazy. I don't really know like what the fucking situation is, but I know that the Habs, right?
The Habs. Yeah, there you go.
The Habs are going to Game 7 versus the Sabres, right?
The Sabres, yeah.
Sabres. That's going to be a hell of a game.
Dude, that's happening like literally right now as we record. So by the time anyone listens to this, this will be outdated. But
so
like,
congratulations to whoever
Yeah, Aaron, add like an AI robot voice of whoever wins in there. That series has been so electric because like these fan bases are insane, dude. Like they are crazy people.
Fucking arena I've ever heard. Everyone's in red, throwing a towel around. I mean, you go to a Blues game, it's like that, but man, that was loud, bro. The energy in there is crazy.
That's the Yankees. That is the Yankees of hockey. And so like the pressure on those guys is like the Yankees. The press coverage is like the Yankees. Like those guys, like they're Real Madrid. They are the cream of the crop. That's the Cowboys. Like you have the biggest microscope on you, and they haven't won a cup since 1993. In fact, an American team has won the Grey Cup, which is the championship of Canadian football, more recently than a Canadian team has won the Stanley Cup.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Canada.
So, like, this is their
They've
last...
been through so much,
dude, this is their last shot. And, like, it is hinging on Montreal. And on the flip side of it, you have a Buffalo team, which I believe was the longest playoff drought in the NFL or in the NHL. It's obviously a very tortured fan base between the Sabres and the Bills. They've never won anything, right? You live in Western New York where you're a frozen tundra 9 months of the year, basically.
Right.
And this is what they have. The winner of this has to go up against a team that is the Thunder of the NHL right now. They play the Carolina Hurricanes. They play great defense. They haven't lost. They've looked extremely unbeatable. But at the same time, there's questions just like the Thunder about their quality of competition that they played, right? Like, nobody's sitting there thinking the Flyers were that great. Right. So it's a question of, is this the real Eastern Conference Finals, Montreal versus Buffalo, or is Carolina just going to walk through these guys?
Right. Damn, man. I just watched so many just different shots that were just disgusting. I mean, the Avalanche are nasty, bro.
Yeah, so let's talk about that, right? Because like we've talked, and I've told you about this President's Trophy curse, right? Yeah. Eight out of the last, I think it's 40, have won, right? Which is a really low percentage for your number one overall record.
Right.
And everybody I know who's a smart hockey fan is telling me, watch out for this Avs team. And like you watched them, bro, they're good, right? The 8 teams that have won, you want to know what they had in common, Connor?
What's that?
Great elite goalie play. I believe 6 or 7 of the 8 winners had a goalie who went into the Hall of Fame.
Wow.
I think the only exception was Corey Crawford, 2013 with the Chicago Blackhawks, who had arguably one of the best postseason runs for a goaltender ever. The Avs don't have that, right? Scott Wedgwood is a longtime journeyman kind of goalie, been a backup for a lot of his career, right? Played great this entire playoffs and may continue to play great. But it would be a huge anomaly in the sense that his career is not similar to the guys who have been on President's Trophy winning teams that also won the Stanley Cup. So that's what I'm really interested to watch is like in that Vegas series, right? Vegas has great skaters. I mean, Jack Eichel, Mitch Marner, who was the scapegoat
That's
in
the
Toronto.
Guy who made the shot.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, he's had a total turnaround. I mean, they killed him in Toronto, Connor. He was like a Mike Trout type figure where they were like, he can't win. He's great. He can't win the big one.
Oh, wow.
And he goes to Vegas in free agency and he has a chance to rewrite this, right? So what if Vegas turns around and beats the Avs? And crazy. You like rewrite this whole Mitch Marner story and it's like, hey, it was never him. It's you, Maple Leafs. It's your organization. Or alternatively, chance for redemption and a chance to see like a truly great hockey team in Colorado advance to the Stanley Cup.
So is this the second round we're going to, or the third round?
This is the conference finals.
Got you. So this
So
is the
Montreal
semifinals.
Buffalo Game 7 is tonight.
Right.
That'll determine who plays Carolina in the Eastern
Right.
Conference Finals. Vegas versus Colorado is the Western Conference Final.
Wow. I'm definitely gonna watch some of these series for sure.
I think you might be casual hockey guy moving forward.
No, I think I might have to be, man, because it's got a lot of the things I like in a sport. A very small object going very fast. I tend to like that. Maybe I'd like being into tennis too.
Here's what I think you're also gonna like, and more of a Schadenfreude way, but I like getting that energy out of you. Some of the hockey commentators are like the dumb bro archetype that you see online a lot that you just absolutely loathe. And I am excited for you to get some like hockey analysis and like actually be able to be like, who the fuck is this guy? Because like Connor upset about sports commentary is truly one of the best Connors. It's like, it is so delicious. Just your takes on like people being bad at delivery or analysis or whatever.
Right.
And like the hockey commentary community, first of all, they're very much like, please like my sport, which I always found very desperate and weird.
Yeah.
But I can't wait to hear you like break down like, what is this guy talking about? And I know it's going to happen.
They're all very Canadian. That's all I've noticed so far. They're all really Canadian, but that's how it's been forever. Geez, man, we went around the world with it. Didn't get into any soccer. I'm sorry, y'all. Do you have any soccer thoughts to end our episode?
Here's my soccer thought. Exciting. A guy I bet you know, Neymar. You ever heard this name?
Yeah.
Guess who's going to the World Cup this summer with Brazil? Neymar.
Oh, cool.
So, like, this is a guy, Connor, like, and I'll admit,
all-timers.
he is one of the all-timers, but he's not considered that way. He's the all-time leading goal scorer for Brazil. He won Champions League with Barcelona with Lionel Messi, right? Like, which is the Super Bowl of soccer, right? He had a great career with PSG. His career got derailed a little bit by injury, but he's never won the World Cup with Brazil, and he never won the Champions League without Messi. So a lot of people have kind of said, despite all the statistics, despite everything, he's kind of a rung below, right? And they go back to in Brazil in 2014, they lost to Germany 7-1 in the semifinal.
That was brutal.
It's considered like maybe the worst loss in any sport ever. Like Brazil at a home World Cup.
Pornhub and saying Brazilians getting fucked by Germans for 90 minutes. I think.
Yeah, literally. Neymar is not going to start on Brazil this World Cup, but there is a chance for him to have a little bit of a redemption story. And for guys like us, I mean, I'm not a LeBron guy, but I liked watching this playoffs.
I like a good player.
This is a little bit in that vein, right? Of a guy who can make an impact and have, a little bit change his legacy, change his story if he can be good at the World Cup this summer. So was really, really excited. Literally just happened.
Very cool.
But very excited to see Neymar this summer at the World Cup.
And who do you think, I guess last question of the episode, who do you think is the current, or who is the current favorite to win the World Cup?
Shout out to our guy Basme, but it's France. France is the favorite to win the World Cup. They are super talented. The most loaded squad of any team, in the world. And the question is literally, very typical of French teams, but if they could keep the egos in the locker room together and truly play as a team, they usually win. The problem comes is they, have a lot of superstars. Guys start pointing fingers when things don't go perfectly, and they get torn apart internally rather than by other teams. But that's the best squad in the world right now. And I think once kind of these NBA playoffs wrap up, Connor, you and I are going to get to some deep dives, and I'm going to teach you some soccer because I think that is the next place to go on your sports journey.
Billy, when I met you, you were reading a book called The History of the Ball or something.
The Ball is Round.
The Ball is Round.
Yeah, great book.
Let me tell you something. I've always wanted to get into soccer because it's hard to get into. And I just find the nuances of all the players and their skill and the culture of it fascinating. So we're definitely going to do that. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you next week. Same time, same bad channel. If you have any questions, contact at imightKnowBall.com is going to be where you want to go. Please send us anything. Stories, questions, comments, criticisms, anecdotes, whatever you have. And we really appreciate you watching as usual. And Billy, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Was a pleasure.
Always.
Always. See you guys.